Are you able to see my paid screen? So today we will start with a very important feature of object-oriented programming called as inheritance. Okay. So for that, to understand inheritance, let's try to take a real-world scenario. So if there is a company, let's say Apple, and Apple has made a software called iPhone 15. Okay. To make this software of iPhone 15, let's say they have made a class. They have made a class over here, class iPhone 15. Okay. They have made a class, and this code, let's say, has 30,000 lines. Just assuming, okay. Or rather, let's say to write the code for this software, iPhone 15, it took them 1 year. It took them 1 year, and it had 1,000 lines of code. Assuming how many lines of code, how much time it took to make, and the cost of construction was 100 crores. The cost of development was 100 crore it took to develop this software. Okay, and then once the software was ready, they stored this software on their computer somewhere, D drive, Apple, and iPhone 15. They stored it. .java. So the entire 1 year's effort and 100 crore rupees worth data is stored at this location. Now after 6 months or 1 year, they release a new version, iPhone 16. That iPhone 16 now has 1,100 lines of code. How much? So let's say if this had 365,000 lines of code. How much lines of code? And the construction development cost of that was 365 crores. So and it took them 1 year. Okay, so means every day they would write 1,000 lines of code. Correct. So this iPhone 16, which will be made, would have some advanced features. Some extra features would be added over there in iPhone 16, and the entire iPhone 16 would be around 375,000 line of code. How many lines of code? So if they write 1,000 lines per day, will take them how many days? Okay, and if daily they are spending 1 crore on to the developer salary, everything, so this will be made in how many? 375 CR, correct? Okay, so is this? Now, can you all make it faster and can you all make it more cost efficient? Is there any way in which we can make the new software faster and less in less cost? Yes, anyone? The old software is stored with us, right? We can directly use that old software over here. So just by using extends, just by using what? Extends, I get the entire 365,000 lines of code. So that I have got over here just by using extends. So if iPhone 16 says extends what? iPhone 15. So just by using one keyword, how much code has been import extended? So I have got the 365,000 lines of code over here. Now how much code do I have to write extra now? Just how much? 10,000 lines of code I have to write extra. How much? So 10,000 lines of code I have to write extra. So if I am spending writing 1,000 lines of code per day and spending 1 CR on the developers, so this will be done in how many days now? In 10 days and in 10 CR, I can develop this new software. Yes or no? So this is what now see the difference in the cost. So without inheritance, if I was going, it was taking me how much days to develop the new one without inheritance. If I was starting from scratch and building the entire 375 days. And how much cost was it costing the company? And now how many? So what is it? What is the Umar? Can you calculate the discount or the how much percentage of money we have saved? 375 CR compared to 10 CR. How much? It's around what? 99% improvement. How much? More than okay, approximate somewhere. Okay, now going forward, if after few years they want to launch iPhone 17 also, right? So after few years, they plan to launch iPhone 17. Okay, so iPhone 17, let's say, will have total 385,000 lines of code. How many? So if I start building, and I have stored this somewhere on my hard disk, right? I have the this data is there with me in the Apple folder. By what name? iPhone 16.java, correct? So now after few years, after next year, they want to make iPhone 17, which has 385,000 lines of code. So if I don't use inheritance, will take how much time to develop? 385 days, and will cost the company how much? Now, what is a simple way we should adopt? We can make what? Class iPhone 17 extends what? iPhone 16. So this by mere extension, what we will get? We will get the code over here. Now, how much code have I inherited? 375 lines of code, right? 375,000 lines of code I have got. How much I have to add extra now? Just 10,000. So in 10 CR, I can build this product also. So this is how companies work. They do not always code from scratch. They tend to use reuse. So inheritance means code reusability. How will you explain inheritance? Code reusability. So code can be reused. So the class which was made earlier, you can call it as a parent class, okay, or you can call it as a base class, or you can call it as a super class. And the class which was made later on, you can call it as a child class or derived class, or you can call it as a subclass. Whatever you feel comfortable, you can use. But if you want to stick to one term, then I would recommend that we stick to super and sub. So to point to the parent class, address it as super class, and to point to the child class, address it as subclass. Make sense? Okay. So now an inheritance is a relationship. What is inheritance? Which relationship? Inheritance is a, yeah. So if it is a is a, okay. So if I draw over here, okay. So now we have types of inheritance. Okay, this is theory. You all will get this faster, and I guess you all have done this in C++. So the topic is the same. So the property of one father gets inherited by one son. So this is which inheritance? Single inheritance. What is this? Now every line should have a arrow. If you are drawing a flow chart or block diagram, the line should have an arrow. So where should I put the arrow for this? Over here, like this. That is called position A. Or should I put the arrow over here, like this? That is called as position B. So where should I put the arrow at A or B? No. Arrow in inheritance should come at position B. It looks like this, but you should write the arrow like this. So is a bottom up, is a bottom up relationship. Which relationship? Bottom up. So whenever you are showing inheritance, the arrow should go bottom up. Okay, then you have multiple inheritance. Which inheritance? Multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance, there are multiple parents, parent class. Okay, so there is a multiple parent class. So the attributes of the father and the mother is inherited by the child. This is called as multiple inheritance. So there will be two super classes, and from the two super classes, the subclass will inherit. So this is which inheritance? So multiple inheritance means multiple parent classes. Remember that, okay? Okay. If I put a mirror over here, like we had in physics, if I put a mirror over here, So how will the reflection of this fall? The reflection of this will fall like this, right? It will be that they will be, this will be a reflection of that, right? So it will be, so the property of one father got inherited by two sons, son 1 and son 2. That is called as hierarchical inheritance, the third type of inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance. And how will we draw the arrow? Son 1 and son 2 both have inherited from the father. Okay. Got the difference between hierarchical and multiple? Anybody who is confused? And then there is multi-level. From the grandfather, the father inherited, and from the father, the son inherited. Okay. So from the grandfather, father inherited, and from the father, the grandson inherited. Okay. So this is which inheritance? Yes. Fourth one. Fourth is, so your theory all are comfortable, right? Theory I should not be explaining. All are comfortable. Multi-level inheritance. And fifth is called hybrid. In hybrid, what we do, we have a mixture of two inheritance. You can combine two inheritance, and then you can form your own hybrid inheritance. Okay. So if I draw with the red, let's stick to the black first. This is what type of inheritance? Hmm? What type of inheritance is this? Single, right? And now what type of inheritance is this? Yes. Now what type of inheritance is this? The yellow portion is yellow portion is single, and the orange portion is hierarchical. So the entire green portion is mixture of two inheritance, right? So that we call as a hybrid inheritance. Okay. So now if I try to take a example of programming example, okay. Let's, the theoretical, y'all are always good with inheritance. That is not a problem. Y'all can always write theoretical better. Okay. So now let me come here and make a new package. What, day 15 inheritance, new class. So let's say there was a person, or there's a person, this class person We'll have characters as integer. Okay, so let's take his string name, integer, age, and string in. Okay, I will take his city, which city he is living. Okay, or you can take address, simple as that. Just take a string address. So then what all do we need to make first? First we'll make a parameterized constructor. So if you want to make a parameterized constructor directly, you can say, okay, so we have learned about the public and the private specifiers, guys. What is the public specifier? It can be inherited. Okay, okay, let's now come over here. So now, how many attribute does this class person have? Three attributes, right? So, so this is my iPhone 15. Initially, I made this. Okay, so now I want you all to answer this, understand this thoroughly. Okay. Now, how many methods does this class have? Yes, no, maybe. Tell me. So total, how many methods are there in this class? Namely, function 1, function 2, correct? Correct. And let's me make all of them as public. Okay, so and let's make all of them as public. Data also I'm making public. So now total how many data members are there in this class and how many methods are there? Yes, three times three methods, correct? So here if I take the statistics of this class, total data members 3. Okay. I'm emphasizing on the word total over here. Total is the key. And total methods how many? Yes guys, total methods, correct? Very good. Then I come on the same package, I write new class. So now this class was a person. After some time, this person gets a job. What does he become? After getting a job, he becomes a what does he become? Okay, employee. Okay, so Now, let's say I will call this as display age and display address. So what will this display? This dot age. What will this display? The instance variable, right? This dot address. So after some time, this person becomes an employee. Okay. So employee means company will want his address also. So if he has enrolled for pickup and drop, company needs his address from where to pick up, from where to pick him up. Company also will need his age. Okay, if he has some insurance, and company will also need his name also. So the company also needs three things when he the company will ask him to fill a form to give his name, age, address. Plus company will give him now a employee number. Company will give him a designation, and company will give him a salary. Okay. Now to read his age and address, company also wants to read his age. So if company wants to give him health insurance, so company will take his age as to how much his age is. Based on that, the health insurance premium will be calculated. And company wants to give him or her pick up and drop. So company also wants to need the address. Okay, home pick up drop. Okay. So how many lines of code have we written over here in the person class? One, two, three, and so if I remove all the extra leading spaces, how much lines of code have we written in the person class? 4 to 14. 11 lines of code, correct? Yes, no, maybe. And how much lines of code have we written in the employee class now? If I remove all the spaces, from 5 to 18. How many lines of code? 14 lines of code. How many lines of code? 14 lines of code. So have we used inheritance over here? Have we used inheritance over here? No, because these 11 lines of code we have copied and pasted over here also. So our code is getting bulkier. So can anyone provide me any other solution which is faster and more economical? Yes, Abdullah. Yes, we can. Yes, we can inherit the person class in employee. So when we make the employee, we can say this employee inherits from, and what is the keyword we will use for inheritance? What is the keyword we use in Java for inheritance? Extends. From which class? Person. Now once I do that, apart from the private data, all the data is inherited. What is the sentence? Apart from private data, rest everything is inherited. Apart from private data, rest everything is inherited. So what all is inherited? Is the string, public string name inherited? Yes or no? Yes. Age inherited? Why yes? Why yes? Why age inherited? Because it is non-private. Because it is because it is non-private. So apart from private, everything is non-private. So protected is non-private. Default is non-private, and public is. So when I say non-private, these three things can be inherited. These three things can be inherited. Can age inherited? Yes, no, maybe. Why yes? Because it is public and it is non-private. Is age inherited? Yes. Is address inherited? Why is it inherited? Non-private. Why? Because anything apart from the private is inherited. Okay. Is display age inherited? Is display age method inherited? You can inherit data and method both. Is display address method inherited? So, so when they both, all of them are eligible for inheritance. Or I should rather say eligible for inheritance because we are in the parent class, no? So, is the name eligible for inheritance? This should have been the question. Is the age eligible for inheritance? Is the address eligible for inheritance? Is the display age eligible for inheritance? And is the display address eligible for inheritance? Yes. So all I need to do is when I do extends person means what? All the eligible data members and methods will be inherited. Will be inherited as I do. So was name eligible? So it is inherited. So I don't know not to try it again. Was age eligible for inheritance? So no need to write again. Address eligible for inheritance? No need to write again. Okay. And this is the extra features which we are adding in this class. Age was eligible for inheritance. Address was eligible. So now this class only becomes like this. This class only becomes this much. Only how much lines of code? So in 3 lines of code, now if I ask total, okay, total, how many data members are there in this class? Anas will answer this. How many data members are there in the employee class? Yes.